And Ed Husic will not go quietly. Labor MPs have already launched an extraordinary spray describing Richard Marles, their Deputy Prime Minister, as dumb and nasty in this news.com.au article written by Sam Maiden. And she reports that Labor MPs were scathing, however, of the brutality of the post-election reshuffle, with one describing the factional power brokers as sociopaths. Albanese has unfettered power now, a Labor source said. He could have used that power to protect frontbenchers, and he didn't. Sam Ray is Richard Marles' numbers man. And Sam Ray is one of those that the Victorian right now has in the ministry. Albanese's message in response to this infighting was to publicly say that the Labor Party is greater than any individual.
Government brings with it responsibility, and no individual is greater than the collective, and that includes myself. And we need to approach this term with humility to make sure that we deliver on the commitments that we made to the Australian people, but also that we operate in a way which shows solidarity.
That was his public appeal for unity when chaos was erupting. But then at the caucus meeting, Maiden reports that he didn't even acknowledge or thank the two ministers who'd been dumped, Dreyfus and Husic. And besides, Albanese was the one behind Husic's dumping. Now, this is the true nature of the ruthless Prime Minister, who doesn't look after his own and only cares about his own tenure in the lodge. This is who Dreyfus is making way for in the ministry, Sam Ray, who today became the Minister for Aged Care. He's a former Victorian State Secretary, a factional heavyweight, and very close to Richard Marles. He's young, he's known for his unique hairstyle, but he is powerful. And that means, as Sam Maiden points out, that Labor ministers Claire O'Neill, Mark Dreyfus, Peter Khalil, an MP, Josh Burns, Tim Watts, Cassandra Fernando, and so many others owe their seats or take their orders from him. Maiden writes that this sort of conduct might pass as normal in Dan Andrews' Victorian Labor Party, but it's not the way things are done at the federal level. But the overarching picture here is that the left faction now has control within the Albanese government. And Cameron Milner writes tonight in the Nightly that the Labor right, the usually the more sensible faction, is now powerless to stop the excesses of the left. And he says that this is the case on everything from negative gearing, recognition of Palestine, legislating the voice, promoting puberty blockers on the PBS, and more. And Cameron's going to be on the show a bit later to talk about what he says is the radical agenda that Labor has planned. Now, Milner writes that Australia didn't vote knowingly for this radical left agenda, but they are about to get the lesson rammed down their throats ad nauseum. And that's because Albanese and Penny Wong and co will say that they have the mandate for this radical reform with their 90-plus seats. Never mind the fact they only took a small target agenda to the election. You know their arrogance will be insufferable. But if they're leaving powerful and disgruntled and loud figures in their wake, like Ed Husic and Mark Dreyfus, perhaps they're just the start, then one thing is for sure, it's not going to be smooth sailing for the Albanese government.